After last week's successful run, it was finally time to reap my rewards.
The Great Weekly Vault.
And shoulders, a huge upgrade. Together with the loot from our previous run, we were now sitting at item level 224. With Sauron's pit behind us, my sights were now set upon Skyreach. This time forming a group was instant, just like everyone promised. And just like before, I picked people with the lowest item level that nobody else would probably invite. Right from the start, the vibes were good. People were already bantering in chat before we even began. After a quick ready check, it was time to get to business. Exactly 12 seconds after the timer started, I was already dead. Not exactly the opening I was hoping for. This key was only one level higher than my previous one, yet even with my new gear, my health bar was disappearing at an alarming rate. With blood, sweat and me spamming my defensive abilities, we managed to clear the first pack, slowly but surely, paving a way forward until we reached the circular terrace, where the first boss will be. Before that though, more trash. I pulled one pack and my health bar was looking stable. Too stable, so I decided to pull another, and I died again. Somehow my group managed to avoid a full wipe, giving me just enough time to sprint back and collect everything before it turned into an even bigger disaster. As we were clearing the last pack before the boss, the monk simply typed one word in chat. Door. Somehow those 4 letters activated knowledge I didn't even know I had, and I immediately understood exactly what he meant. So I glued myself to that door and barely moved for the rest of the fight. The mechanics themselves were straightforward. Don't get hit by the wind chakram and move away from the tornadoes after chakram vortex. Easier said than done for some of my teammates, but despite a few close calls, we managed to bring him down without any casualties. And that's Ranjit dealt with. At this point, I started to notice something. The bosses didn't seem all that dangerous, but the trash mobs were hitting like absolute trucks. As I died again, trying to make my way inside the temple. Once inside, we slowly worked through 3 more packs before I took a moment to compliment the other warrior in the group. Then it was time for Arachnath, a giant sun-powered mech that kept targeting me with a fiery smash, a frontal attack that was easy enough to dodge. The other important mechanic was the spell that casted lasers that needed soaking. I was trying so hard to be helpful that I occasionally pointed the boss directly at whoever was standing there trying to soak instead. Definitely something to work on. Apart from that, the boss was mostly a punching bag, and just as he was about to die, the Fury Warrior asked in chat, "Are we supposed to soak these lasers?" I guess we all learned something today. With another boss down, we kept moving. The timer, however, wasn't looking too healthy. Since I was pulling one pack at a time, every safe pull felt like another few seconds slipping away. Thankfully, the next boss was only 2 packs ahead. Rukran, a giant fiery bird, turned out to be far more of a challenge than I expected. He regularly summoned smaller birds that dealt AoE damage and had to be focused down. And his deadliest ability, Searing Quills, forced everyone to hide behind a pillar. Simple in theory, not so much in practice. It was like the boss casted some kind of curse on us. One by one, people started dropping. 2 DPS players were already dead, and we briefly considered trying to salvage it, but then the third one somehow managed to die as well. Both me and the healer silently agreed on the only reasonable solution. Reset. Attempt number 2 wasn't much better, mostly because I pulled while one of our party members had gone to the bathroom. So... 3rd time's the charm, right? This time I made absolutely sure everyone was actually inside before pulling. And if we ignore our demon hunter dashing to his death, I'd call it a successful attempt. The bird finally went down. Unfortunately, so did our timer. The next boss was the balcony itself, claiming yet another victim. And with only 5 minutes remaining, we sprinted towards the final boss with a tiny bit of hope still left. Then the Fury Warrior announced that he needed to go to the bathroom. Apparently it was an emergency. 3 packs, 2 minutes. 1 man on the toilet, 1 boss. With 30 seconds remaining, he finally returned, ready to unleash destruction upon our enemies. Sadly, the timer had other plans. As Xalatath laughed in my face, I tasted my first Mythic Plus defeat. Since we were already there, we finished the dungeon anyway in hopes of at least getting some loot. High Sage Virex wasn't particularly complicated. I pulled him against the wall because he periodically sends a bird to carry one player away, and you need to free them before they reach the edge of the arena. Unfortunately, fighting against the wall also meant I could barely see what was happening half the time. I'm also not sure if I'm supposed to help kill the bird or stay on the boss, so if any experienced tanks are watching, please let me know. The boss also fires a giant laser that chases one player who definitely shouldn't drag it through the rest of the group. With one teammate dead somewhere off screen and my health bar looking suspiciously low once again, we finally managed to finish the fight. Our reward? Nothing. No loot, just a handful of crests and a little more tanking experience. Not every dungeon ends with a shiny new piece of gear. Sometimes you fail the key, sometimes you leave empty-handed. But every run teaches you something. And hopefully next time I'll make a few less mistakes. Today I learned that trash packs are way scarier than bosses, and that pulling while your DPS is in the bathroom is generally considered bad tanking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.